Hey, what's up guys? John here. Kenya has officially collapsed. The entire nation has now erupted into mass protest.
Kenya police fired dozens of tear gas canisters into a crowd of opposition supporters on Friday.
The cost of living has increased and life is becoming unbearable. Our children aren't going to school, we can't afford food. Now we can't go to work due to the protest.
Scary chain of events that are unfolding not just in Kenya, but it's coming globally. It's coming around the world, whether people like it or don't like it. Last week, it was France. Remember, France collapsed. 45,000 army officials on the ground, $1.5 billion in property damage, both public and private property destroyed. Then you had Sri Lanka. Remember that? That collapsed recently. Then you had Argentina, massive currency collapse. Then you're seeing the same thing in Belarus. You're seeing all these nations stepping forward into massive problems. But America, we've had it so good for so long, people think, it's not going to happen here. No. It's going to happen here. And I'm going to lay out the facts. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on to connect the dots so people can make smart, well-informed decisions about what's really going on and really position themselves accordingly. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people about what's really going on in the global economy, the real estate market. And also, today's video is sponsored by my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you want to fix your credit to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer of all time, we'd love to help you and give you a free strategy session at GreatCreditFast.com. Take a look at this. Now, this situation has unfolded quickly. Kenya's new tax package angers some backers of a president who once vowed to reduce the cost of living. This is Nairobi, Kenya. Now, I've shown everyone this website before. If you just simply go here, and I'll show you how to get there just so you can see, because this is the future. This is what it's actually going to look like. So you can go here, click on our cities. Then you can click here, you can go to Nairobi, and you can look at the city profile. And when you look at the city profile, you can click accelerators, and it will kind of show you some of the new things here. But this is not just Nairobi. This is happening everywhere. Look at the map. Look at that map. Every single city has already signed on to following the same exact protocols that are happening in Nairobi, that are happening in France, that are happening here in America. I mean, it's all over America, happening all these different locations. This is what is going to happen. Look at this. So this situation, what they're doing is they're doubling taxes on petroleum products from 8% to 16%, and expected to have a ripple effect on East Africa's economic hub, with prices of goods and services expected to increase. Well, of course, if prices are going to be going up here, they're going to be passing them on to the consumer. Everything is just going to continue to get pushed on, asking the next person to pay, which is going to be inflationary, right? The administration of President William Ruto, who was elected last year, has only made things harder. He said he was going to make life easier for us hustlers. Now we're unable to afford food. Prices are higher than they were before the elections. People earning about $3,500 a year, $3,500 now will pay 32.5% taxes, and those making above 800,000 shillings will pay 35%, combined with new housing tax, the 1.5%, the medical insurance tax of 2.5%. The new burden will see some Kenyans part with about 40% of their income. It feels cruel because of inflation rates. But look at this. They will essentially be telling us to shut down because we will not be able to take out loans to pay taxes. They're basically bankrupting. Look, small businesses will also be hit with a new tax on total sales, increasing from 1% to 3%. Taxes are going absolutely insane. And why? What's happening? Well, look at this. So they say, look at this word here. Look at that. We've heard this discussion a lot recently, last 12 months, 24 months. It's become more and more prevalent in everyday conversations, the media. Well, when we see how this is going to play out, it's really going to be fascinating, and this is how it's going to play out. So with Kenya, for this example, you go to Kenya, look at view city profile, you look at their accelerators, and look at their pathway to zero waste. Provide timely city waste collection services, treating at least 30% of organic waste, reducing waste disposal emissions by 30%. And then you click here. Right here on Clean Air Accelerator, you can go to these new air quality guidelines. The new air quality guidelines will show them exactly how they're going to change everything. Some 89% of premature deaths occur in low middle income countries, in the greatest number, right? And they're saying that the only way to really reduce these deaths are going to be to follow this new set of chain of events, right? These new guidelines, implement new policies, enforcing strong regulations, prioritize resources, build the necessary skills to achieve ambitious reductions in air pollution. And how are they going to do this? How are they going to do all of these things? Raise air quality awareness to help vulnerable residents reduce exposure to reduce causes of air pollution, such as traffic. They need to take cars off the road, right? They need to start to reduce these auto vehicle emissions. So how are they going to do that? They're going to continue increasing taxes. It's going to get much, much, much more expensive. They're going to reduce food waste. How are they going to reduce food waste? Well, plant-based foods. That's essentially what's going to happen. I mean, you start to go through here and you start to look at food system networks. I mean, it's very, very clear. It says it right here, food waste. Accelerating food loss, waste to facilitate the recovery of redistribution. Right here, promoting regenerative urban agriculture to increase food security, production, emissions, and right here, align food procurement to planetary health diet, right? Everything is about to change, everything. Now, many people might be like, okay, that's just Kenya. No, you go to look at the map, it's everywhere. Like, this is going to be happening in a very, very, very big way. Most people don't realize it. Sri Lanka, for example, Sri Lanka collapsed last year. Last year it did. Well, what they say was one of the major issues, right? The same exact word, the same thing. And it's a major driver for hunger, right? An economic crisis and political crisis. Meanwhile, the relative heat trapping emissions are next to none compared to major emitting nations like the United States. Boom. This is what's going to happen. Look at Argentina, right? Argentina is stepping into a massive, massive currency crisis. And if you look here, the same exact situation is for Argentina. And they have the entire game plan, the entire blueprint of what this is actually going to look like to, solve this problem, right? And so when you're looking at that, you're like, okay, well, how does this all play out? Look at Turkey. Turkey's inflation rate cools, right? But this is their inflation rate's almost 50% a year, right? Or no, just under 40% for the first time in 16 months. That's pretty crazy. But they blame protest over this right here, right? They blame that. And didn't they do the same exact, they said it was the same exact reason in France, the same exact reason in America, right? And they say this is the situation, but it was also the hottest week ever, right? 2 days ago, hottest week ever. Now, when you look here, this is their plan as well for Turkey. So when you start to really, really kind of look at this, and you look at France, the same exact kind of conversation that's unfolding, and then you look at this whole chain of events, you're like, okay, well, how does this actually play out? Well, this is what they're saying it's going to cost. The BNEF estimates actually is on the low end compared to McKinsey, right? 275 trillion is going to be the total cost. So we're going to witness a total restructuring in this economy globally. And when you look at Biden's new tax plan, it increases the corporate income tax rate, quadruple the new corporate stock buyback exercise tax, and align U.S. tax policy with a global minimum tax regime, right? So when people see these situations that are unfolding in Kenya, mass protest, increased taxes, increased fuel costs, all of these newfound costs, they see that in Kenya, they see it in France, they don't live in France, they don't really care that much, they're interested, but it doesn't really apply to their everyday life. They see things in Sri Lanka and Turkey and Argentina and all these other nations. But what's actually happening is that America is next. America is 100% next. You just look at it. You look at this. You tell me how it's not next. You click here and you just look at this map. You look at that map. America's next. We're going to start to see this big, big, big wealth transfer unfold. Because we look at the everyday position that the everyday American is in. Record high credit card debt, record high auto loan debt, record high mortgage debt, record high student loan debt, record high food costs, record high housing costs, utility bills. Everything is just all-time highs. And how are they going to do this? They're going to supply a solution, which is going to be this energy transition, which is what we're going to be walking into. We're going to be walking into this energy transition, which is going to push a lot of people over the brink of collapse financially. And so I believe we're in the greatest wealth transfer of all time. And what's ultimately going to happen is there's going to be a lot of people that see what's happening and they're positioning themselves in the right business. They're getting out of high interest rate consumer credit card debt. They're positioning themselves for uncertainty and a more expensive world. And those people are going to do better than a lot of people that are looking at all this information, applying nothing, saying, okay, maybe it'll work. Maybe maybe things will get bad. Maybe this whole thing will solve itself. It's not. Right? We're witnessing the decimation of the 99%. That's what the world's going to look like. And it's up to everybody to make smart decisions over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, so that they can get into the 1%. And now with all of these opportunities people have online, people can easily get into the 1% if they apply themselves and work really, really hard. I think that's going to be the easiest solution here, because if you look at what's actually happening, look at the last few years, everyone had an opinion about everything. Everyone had an opinion about everything. But what did it actually do? What did it actually mean? It meant nothing. Everything just continued to move in the direction that it wanted to move in. There was almost no change. And so the only option really is to make smart, well-informed decisions to protect yourself and your family and position yourself for a really, really big change globally. What do you think about it? Drop below, hit the like button, subscribe here, add me on IG for content you're not going to get anywhere else. And if you want to fix your credit to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer of all time, we'd love to give you a free strategy session at greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. Catch you in the next video.